What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of History Behind the Horror. I'm your host, Tay, and for tonight's video, we will be talking about the Tails doll from Sonic R. Now, before we start this video, I'd like to give a huge shout out to everyone who liked our last video, which was Sonic.exe. So thank you guys for the likes, thank you guys for the shares, and thank you guys for putting in the comments for what video you guys wanted to see next, which is this video, the Tails doll. So if you guys do enjoy this video and you would like to see more videos from the Creepypasta side, make sure you guys like and share this video and put in the comments for what you want to see next. And as always, thank you guys so much for stopping by, and I hope you enjoy the video. Tails doll appears to be a cruelly stitched doll of Tails with the mechanical components hidden inside. Tails doll has an antenna on its head bearing a gem, presumably intended to control the robot remotely. Unlike the related Metal Sonic, Tails doll is intended for racing rather than fighting, and presumably carries no weaponry. Its light weight allows it to float over the ground, bypassing some obstacles. The strange appearance of the robot spawned internet legends claiming the Tails doll was an evil entity manifested through Sonic R and carried a horrible curse, allegedly triggered by doing certain things in the game related to it, and which caused insanity and death. The song, "Can You Feel the Sunshine?" is also said to be part of the curse and of the doll's evil power. Here are a few facts stated about the Tails doll. It is not of this world. It is neither machine nor truly alive, and thus it can never die. It is the void in which existence itself is meaningless, and hence suffers eternal hunger. A hunger for the life it can never aspire to. Its insustainable appetite is for souls. It is every pain you have ever felt, and every illness you have ever feared. It is all your darkest secrets, and some that you have yet to discover. It is everything and nothing. It is the future. It is the Omega, the end. It is also orange, and somewhat fuzzy. They say if you stare into the abyss for long enough, the abyss stares back. If you stare at the Tails doll long enough, it will not only stare back, but feast upon your eyeballs from the inside as well. Though the requirements for summoning the Tails doll varies from pasta to pasta, probably the most popular method is to win a race with the Tails doll after unlocking everything in the game. To protect oneself from the Tails doll, the most popular method is to own a Sonic doll. After I got home from work, I thought I'd buy a game for my son. He was into the Mario, Sonic, and Donkey Kong type stuff, so I got him a game I don't think he ever played. It was Sonic R. It was a racing game as I heard, and at the time it was pretty new. I raced home to give him the game and kissed my wife on the cheek. I held her and she was happy for me giving him a present. The excitement filled his eyes and I could tell he couldn't wait to play it. He went back to his room and I was right behind him to play with him. A couple of days passed and he was almost done with the game, as he said. I watched him beat the last boss and he roared in excitement. He beat the game. I felt good for him, patted his head and asked him how was it. As I did so, I looked at the credit screens and pointed and said, What's that? He said it was the Tails doll. I asked what the Tails doll was. He just said it was the Tails doll again. I obviously facepalmed and ignored the scenery. I called for him to get into bed. As he was sleeping, the curiosity got the best of me. I went into his room, very quietly turned the volume down on the TV, and was ready to play some Sonic R. Knowing he already beat the game, I decided to play it again through watching him from earlier. I noticed you could play as Tails doll. Knowing that it was the main reason why I wanted to play the game, I chose him to tag up with some of the gang. It was pretty fun actually, until I tagged him up with Sonic. Right when I hit that button, my whole life changed. My life was in the palm of his hands. It was all calm at first, I must say. The screen shut off along with the game system. I let things be and went to bed with my wife. She grabbed onto me as I did her, falling into a deep sleep. At around 2 a.m. I started hearing thumps on my door. Keeping it shut and locked every night, I was thinking it was my son probably getting up and asking me to get him something again. Knowing he could get it himself, I just said, "Stop, go back to bed." The thumping kept happening. I got very annoyed and noticed as I got up there was a little shadow coming from under my door. Nothing at all compared to a regular human-sized shadow. I kinda started freaking out. The word tails kept popping up in my head. I started to slowly open the door and heard these very faint words that I will never forget.
You are coming with me forever.
It was a doll, an evil blood-covered possessed little doll. It was from the game. It had to be. It looked just like the one from the video game. I screamed, waking the whole house as it started clawing at my toes. Blood was all over the floor, and to this day, my feet ached and are sore. It was growing very aggressively, and as my screams got louder, my wife called for the police. It scattered across the floor, running from me. Its screech was awful, and it let out a trail of blood behind it. It said it has what it needs, knowing it can't finish its job tonight. Ever so, to this day, I'm afraid to go to sleep at night. My sleeping patterns are scattered apart. I go to sleep at around 6 a.m. and wake up at around 8 p.m. to start my day. I know this may sound fake, but it isn't. I swear to this very day, I am shocked to even think about falling asleep at this night period. The 7 pure souls are mysterious beings. They are human. They have special powers like pyrokinesis, shape-shifting, or have no powers at all. The Tails doll is always after them since it's their main weakness and a life-threatening threat. They are attacked for no reason but to kill them and devour their souls, but the Tails doll always failed. Whenever the Tails doll tries to kill them, it failed because the 7 pure souls have the power to transfer their powers to other family members, which causes the family members to become pure souls like them. They can only transfer their powers when they are dying. If all pure souls combine their strength, they can defeat the Tails doll but can't kill it since it is immortal. It will return again after dying. The 8 pure soul is a mysterious being which isn't found yet. It is unknown whether it exists or it's just a myth. And that ends yet another episode of History Behind the Horror. Now, if I had to pick favorites on which of these creepypastas between Sonic.exe and the Tails doll, I would have to say Sonic.exe was my favorite one because it seems more scary, even though it isn't scary today based off all the creepypastas that are out now and before it. And back in the, like when it first came out, those were really scary to me, like the Tails doll and the Sonic.exe, because I never really seen anything like that, and I really didn't know what a creepypasta was. This was before Slender Man, I believe, before I knew what Slender Man was, and before I knew what Jeff the Killer was, or Eyeless Jack, or any of these creepypastas was. My first creepypasta was Sonic.exe, and I believe Tails doll. It was either that or I think right after that was Slender Man, but I know for a fact the first one was Tails doll or it was Sonic.exe. And like I said, it creeped me out because I never really knew what a creepypasta was, and I was thinking that these things were real. This was years ago, but I thought it was real because I never knew anything like that existed, like the video game Sonic R and the Tails doll. I never knew what a Tails doll was, and I thought maybe they just made up a creepypasta based off of the game, but I didn't know there was actually a Tails doll in Sonic R. And then Sonic.exe had its own game that wasn't really related to anything. It was just, somebody made a Sonic.exe, and that was pretty creepy. But as far as lore goes, as in story for Tails doll, it kind of threw me off at the end. The part about the 7 pure souls or something like that. It was just that part in the story, I feel like it kind of threw me off. I like the part with the guy who got his feet scratched and he played the game and experienced the Tails doll. That was creepy still, to its own extent. But the whole 7 pure souls thing had me kind of scratching my head like, what? It was weird. I'm glad it's part of it because it gives you some kind of story of he can be defeated, but he can't be defeated. So in a sense, it's like a necessary thing to say, oh, Tails can be defeated, but also he can't be defeated, so it's kind of necessary. But then at the same time, it's not necessary, if you understand what I'm saying. I was going to say that it's good that the 7 pure souls is there to give Tails some kind of counter, even though it's not permanent, because it seems like he's a little too powerful. But when you look at the other creepypastas like Jeff the Killer, or even especially the Slender Man, like those kind of creepypasta characters don't have a counter to kill them. They seem like they're pretty much immortal, even though Jeff might be able to die because he is a human. But Slender Man, to my knowledge, I don't think there's a way to even beat him. So I guess that kind of throws my theory out, saying that, well, I guess there's no such thing as a too powerful creepypasta. But who will win a fight against Tails Doll or the Slender Man is beyond me. I'm not gonna throw Jeff in there because Jeff's a human. Like I said, he would probably get wrecked real quick. So let me know you guys' theories. Let me know what you guys want to see next. If you did enjoy the series, let me know by liking the video and also sharing it and putting in the comments for what you guys want to see next in the creepypasta scene, or if you guys want to see anything else that's not related to creepypasta. And as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you guys on the next episode of History Behind the Horror.